Will democracy survive in the next couple of years?
Essentially, we are the same.
There are so many needs that Minnesota has.
What people are saying they need right now.
Access to Democracy is made possible in part by a donation from Firefly Credit Union. Firefly is the new name of U.S. Federal Credit Union, which has proudly served the financial needs of the greater Twin Cities community since 1925. At Firefly, we guide our members forward and give them the power to chase dreams by delivering the financial solutions they need to get ahead. From checking accounts to mortgages, we'll light the way. We are Firefly Credit Union, and this is life illuminated. By Thomson Reuters, providing legal professionals with intelligence, technology, and human expertise they need to find trusted answers. Thomson Reuters, the answer company. Online at thomsonreuters.com. And Dr. Charles Crutchfield of award-winning Crutchfield Dermatology in Eagan. Acknowledged as one of the nation's best physicians, a Minnesota native who trained at the Mayo Clinic, Dr. Crutchfield personally treats all patients and states that experience counts and quality matters. Crutchfield Dermatology, look good, feel great, with beautiful skin.
Welcome to Access to Democracy. I'm Bill Raker, your guest host for today's program. Our guest is Geoff Bullock, an award-winning financial educational specialist at Firefly Credit Union. Welcome, Geoff. We are delighted to have you on the program today.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Very good. We've a lot of interesting and exciting achievements and programs to talk about, but first, let's learn a little bit about Geoff. When did you first become interested, and why did you become interested in financial education?
I guess it just started in my own life. I see how complicated finances are. Financial matters are more and more complex. And so I was looking for answers. I was trying to figure out how to get things together and dug deep into different books on the topic, watched every video I could, and found it was something that I really enjoyed and saw it was an area where I could help other people. And so that was really my beginning in financial education, and was able to turn that into a career, which has been great.
Well, that's terrific. Speaking of your career, I know that you're working on a doctoral degree with the University of Southern California. What's the degree in, and when do you hope to matriculate and start using all of this doctoral knowledge that you're picking up?
Or supposed doctoral knowledge, yes. And I have 2 years left, and I'm studying organizational change and leadership. So kind of a broad view, and more specifically on financial education. So I'm able to take my everyday life into the classroom with me and get as much information as I can.
Well, that's wonderful, and you've been doing a great job of it. Speaking of using your financial education, I know you have a lovely wife and two darling, beautiful children, young girls. Have you started teaching your daughters about financial literacy and financial education?
I've tried, but I'm outnumbered. I'm the lone saver in a house full of spenders. So I have a long list of things that my daughters would like to purchase. Mostly are Barbie related. Right now we're at that phase where my 8-year-old gets onto my Amazon app on my phone and has a whole list of things in the bag for me to purchase when she does something well. So they're spenders, but I'm trying to find ways to teach them how to save along the way. And we've found some exciting ways to do it at Firefly through Firefly catching jars that they put coins in, and trying to incentivize chores and things like that. But it's an uphill battle. It's been an uphill battle for me.
Well, I'm sure you're going to be successful and raise some very well-educated children. You know, Geoff, to kind of frame the discussion that we want to have around financial education, I found something on the op-ed column in Sunday's Pioneer Press under the heading of financial literacy. And I'd like to quote this. It's from Julie Bunn, the executive director of the Minnesota Council on Economic Education. Here's what she said. Quote, "Few college students completed a course in personal finance while in high school, and 3 out of 4 young people in America cannot calculate the simple interest on a loan. We fail to prepare them, and that is something we must fix." So let's talk about some of the things that you're doing, you have done, some of the programs that Firefly Credit Union is sponsoring in an effort to fix this lack of financial education that's sending ill-prepared high school students out into the real world, starting with college and student loans. Tell us a little bit about what Firefly is doing in that area.
Well, I have to acknowledge first that a lot of what I'm doing, I'm not pioneering. I'm actually, in a lot of ways, riding in your wake, and you've been an incredible mentor to me through the years, and a former teacher who's taken a lot of your classroom skills into the financial sector. I've found a great home at Firefly, much of what you've built, in connecting with our local community. We've taught teachers at Burnsville High School about financial literacy and how to teach financial literacy to their students. That's one of the things that I don't think is covered enough, is that teachers would love to get financial literacy instruction on how to teach their students. There isn't a real mechanism to teach teachers how to teach about financial literacy to their students.
There is a big gap there.
Huge gap. And so a lot of times, students will grow up without financial literacy skills. They'll go through life, they'll learn different habits on their own, but there'll be some gaps. They'll become teachers. They'll be very bright teachers in English and social studies and mathematics, but the financial literacy piece has never been taught. And so I think starting with teachers is critical, and we've done some work through our partnership with Burnsville High School to talk with teachers, and also to go into teachers' classrooms to talk to students about financial literacy, to listen to them, to find creative ways to make it relevant. And we know that oftentimes students think that financial literacy is boring. They don't want to talk about money. Money's boring. Budgets are boring. So we're trying to find creative ways to say this is relevant, this is important, and it can be exciting if you look at this through a different lens. Don't look at it as a spreadsheet, but look at it as your values. Look at it as your goals. What do you love doing? How can you do that better? So we're trying to find new perspective and new ways to teach age-old methods.
Well, that's terrific. Can you talk a little bit more about a specific example of maybe a program that you've done with the high school? I know that you've worked with some students there to develop a curriculum, a module for the students in the high school. Can you talk a little bit about that? Explain how that came about and what the objective was and what the results are.
Yeah, we have had a really unique partnership with Burnsville High School where we work with two of their students to develop a curriculum for their whole freshman class. And so there was two enthusiastic students. One of them actually works at Firefly, so as a student employee at Firefly, who said, we want to teach financial literacy in a way that's relevant for high school freshmen. We want this to be fun, we want it to be exciting, and we want it to be real-time information of when they need it, what they need, when they need it. And so we helped them get all the resources they needed to create this curriculum. It was very fun. They have videos, they have activities. The student body seemed to love it. They brought it back again. And as a reward for these two young ladies who did such a remarkable job, they actually got a reward where they got to follow our CEO, president and CEO around for the day and learn what it took to be a chief executive officer of a company. And they were just absolutely over the moon, and both of them left saying, I want to be the CEO of a credit union. They said, we'll be back as the CEO of Firefly someday. So it was an all-around just remarkable experience for them, and being able to sit in on some of the classes, the students really took to it, and it proved that this stuff can be fun to learn about. It doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be tedious. There are exciting ways to teach financial literacy if it's done right.
Well, I think, and that's a perfect example, and I think one of the factors that made this program more interesting and appealing to the students is that it was actually designed and compiled by students themselves,
Yes.
not by some academic sitting in an office somewhere and saying this is how we think the program should be put together. Exactly. But students, from their own perspective, created this, and it was an award-winning program. Yes. for the school system as well as for the credit union.
Yes, I think that's something that we've captured that I'm very proud of. That goes back years ago when you and I have spoke about this. We're empowering students. No one knows better than the students themselves. And so when we opened a branch inside of Burnsville High School, it's run by the students. Actually, the bank accounts, the savings accounts, the checking accounts were designed by the students. Even the debit cards that they're using were designed by the students, even the artwork on it. So we've empowered students to learn through doing. And so this is just another example of they get it, they understand what students want, they're able to tailor it correctly, and then for the students who are participating in these things and leading these groups, they're getting a ton out of it. You can't learn anything out more than if you actually have to teach it yourself.
Well, Geoff, I believe this program that was developed with Firefly Credit Union and Burnsville High School could be exported. It could be replicated in other school environments if any of the school systems were interested in it. Who would they contact if they want to get some more information about how maybe to do this in their classrooms?
I would love to talk to any kind of school that would be interested in partnering with us, whatever that looks like. If you wanted to open a branch, even if you just wanted us to come talk to a class. But I think these partnerships are beneficial for everyone involved. The more of these kinds of intersections and partnerships we can build between credit unions and with schools to teach financial literacy, to provide resources, everybody wins in that scenario, and I'd be more than happy to connect with anyone who's interested.
Well, your phone number and your email address is on the screen from time to time, so anyone interested should get that information and contact you.
Absolutely.
We talked about the award-winning program at the high school, but there are other award-winning financial education, financial literacy programs that Firefly Credit Union has been engaged in and has won awards at the state level and at the national level. Can you describe a little bit about what those programs are, what the format is, what the content is, and how you go about delivering that to interested parties?
So one of the core beliefs and focus areas at Firefly that's been incorporated from you and your background and your values is what we call a commitment to education. And so we have a very strong commitment to education, and that plays out in lots of different ways, to adults, to seniors, to families, to youth, to students. But we've won awards, national awards, the Desjardins Awards, in our state category for many years. But of the thousands of credit unions nationwide, we were selected as the winners in 2016 for the Desjardins Awards for our financial literacy work, and which was incredibly exciting. One of the most exciting programs that we had was we went to the Mall of America.
Yeah, tell us about that.
And so we went in the middle of the night. We went at 1 a.m. to their third shift workers. So there's a whole army of workers that are working hard all through the night at Mall of America, so it's open in the morning. And so they're mopping floors, they're getting the shops ready, they're security guards, you name it, they're there working. And we said, we're doing financial literacy for the staff during the day, but what about the people that work in the middle of the night? So we came at 1 a.m., we had pancakes that we brought from a local restaurant and eggs, so we fed everyone, and lots of coffee so that they could stay awake at 1 a.m. listening to me talk for an hour. But we had an incredible turnout. Over 50 people came there in the middle of the night and had great questions, and we talked about financial literacy with third shift workers, and they were so honored that we'd come in the middle of the night to do that. And when we shared that with our national credit union body, we ended up winning the Desjardins Award for it, and received lots of great recognition for our willingness to meet people wherever they're at. We say if you have a group, wherever they're at whatever time, at whatever location, we'll be there to talk about financial literacy. That's how committed we are.
Well, that certainly is a great example of what the commitment is, and congratulations for you and the rest of the team at Firefly that had the initiative and the energy to go out at 1 a.m. and conduct a financial education course for the employees at the Mall of America.
That's right.
I think that's a terrific example of how committed you and the team are to carry out this mission of getting financial education out to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, at any time and any place, as you said.
Thank you. I actually was convinced to go teach the class in my pajamas, and I said to someone, I feel underdressed, and they said, because you are.
Well, teaching an financial educational course in the pajamas is, that's really carrying it to the extreme,
That's going the extra mile.
I think. You know, another program that was developed by you and implemented initially at Firefly Credit Union is the adoption program. Yes. And it won a national award for you personally, as well as for the credit union. It's a great kind of program for not just Firefly, but for any credit union to serve their members in a very unique and very needful way. How did you come about this idea of an adoption loan? How did you develop it and present it so that you won this award? And what's the credit union's success story with it? lot of questions rolled into one.
Yeah,
there,
no,
Geoff.
I am honored that you'd be interested in it. I have two beautiful daughters that are just remarkable that I've adopted. My wife and I adopted. And it was a unique story, but it was incredibly expensive. Adoption here in the United States is very expensive. And so we didn't have the funds we needed to make the adoptions happen and needed to sell our home to get the equity from it. And so when I started at Firefly, I thought there have to be other families that are like us, that have similar stories, that are willing to adopt, feel a desire to adopt, but aren't able to because of finances. Then when I dug a little deeper, I saw that there are thousands, tens of thousands of waiting children here in the United States that are waiting for homes, thousands here even in the state of Minnesota that are awaiting homes. And so I thought here was an opportunity to be able to connect these two groups, people that wanted to adopt and kids waiting to be adopted together, if we could just remove this financial barrier. And so that's where the idea of an adoption loan happened. Now, in financial institutions, new products are scary, and oftentimes they're a lot of work. And so I said, I want to do an adoption loan, and everyone was worried, but I came to the big boss and said, hey, this is my heart, this is why I think it would work, and by being a champion of it, you helped me to push it and actually even just make it happen. And so we ended up receiving a national award for it, and even more exciting, we've had 16 children that have been adopted because of the loan.
That is amazing.
It's remarkable. Yeah. And one family adopted two. So they adopted two children with the loan. And they came to our all-staff meeting to introduce us all to their two young boys. It was an emotional time. There were people who were crying. We got to meet the family in the hallway, and they said, without this loan, this would have never happened. So that in and of itself was just so overwhelming. The need still exists, but hopefully we've pioneered something that other credit unions will copy. We're happy to do these loans on behalf of our members and people in the Twin Cities, but what about people in Cleveland, Ohio, or Dallas, Texas? We wanted to share it with other credit unions so that they could do the same thing in their hometown, and some other credit unions have been interested to do that and are in the process of creating their own version of the loan.
That's a fantastic story, and the success that you've been able to achieve up to this point is a testimony to the need for such a program and how well it has been received by those families who are looking to adopt. Now, the part of the award that came your way as a sponsor, or the creator actually, of the program, was the opportunity to attend some classes at some very fancy graduate schools around the country. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how that's working for you and what that means.
Yes, so I was able to attend a program that I know you're a graduate of, where I was able to go to Wharton.
The Credit Union Executive Society.
Executive Society.
Certified CEO program. That's
exactly right. An incredible program, an incredible organization, the Credit Union Executive Society, do such a great job. And they work with Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania to put on a week-long CEO certification, along with Cornell University and the University of Virginia. And so as the winner of that award, I was able to attend so far at Wharton and at Cornell, and they've just been dynamic. It's really a remarkable time to network with other people with similar backgrounds and to learn from some of the best instructors really in the world.
So you've completed 2 of the 3-year program, right? There's one more to do at the University of Virginia?
Yes, at the University of Virginia.
Yeah. When is that on your schedule?
That's coming up in the spring, and it's a unique experience also because you live in the dorms. So you live on campus there with everyone else, and really get to see each other at your best, at your worst, and make sure that everyone shows up to class on time. So it's been really an enjoyable experience, and I've gotten a lot out of it.
Well, congratulations to you. I know you're going to make a success of the program.
Thank you.
So there are always new things going on as needs are identified and as resources are made available to address them. I think one of the newer programs that you've brought into existence for the credit union related to financial education is the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about how that originated and how it's working and how people can listen in?
I feel like the theme here is you come up with these ideas, and then I get to take credit for them. So the podcast was your idea, but I've been excited to execute on that. One of the ways that we wanted to communicate education was through podcasts. That seems to be a way.
Very innovative.
It's very innovative. That more and more young adults are turning to podcasts to learn about financial education. And so we've just launched a podcast. We haven't even released all of them yet, but both yourself and Giselle Ugardi, who is a local celebrity. She lived in LA for years and has been in television before moving back. Launched this podcast where we ask everyday questions and try to give expert analysis on how to answer them, from things like how to retire, how to have enough money in retirement, what to do if someone steals your identity, how to create a basic budget, why are credit scores important. So we're answering everyday relevant questions. We're trying to be on the cutting edge of how to get it to the right people at the right time when they're making these decisions. And podcasts seem to be a unique and exciting way to get directly to the people who need it.
So what's the target audience of podcasts in general, and specifically for the one that you're promoting?
So we're focused really on young adults.
Yeah.
And young adults seem to be kind of our overall target of podcasts and are wanting more and more from podcasts. So we're trying to really hit people that have recently graduated from college or getting their career started. In some cases, they're just starting families, moving into their first house. They have a lot of financial questions and they need the answers right now. So we're trying to hit them right when they need it.
And you focus not only on financial education in particular topics, but it's kind of condensed into a short period of time because people don't have a lot of time to devote to any particular learning subject right now. So you're kind of spearheading right into a need with a very brief message that is focused on the right people.
Exactly. We wanted it to be relevant and we wanted it to be informational, but we wanted it to be so quick that you could listen to it in one car ride. So we try to make everything under 15 minutes long. Now, Giselle, who co-hosts the show, who is great and very entertaining, likes to weave in some very fun stories and talks about her dating life and finances. And so there are some fun twists to the topics, but we try to keep it as condensed as we possibly can to make sure that people can listen to it and move on with their life.
Now, this is on the radio as well as on a separate broadcast through a separate medium, right?
So we've used, we're trying to also have some usage of visuals. We know that young adults want to watch things by video similar to this. They want to see, they don't just want to hear. So we've tried to have some video elements added to it as well.
Growing and expanding.
We're trying.
Trying to cover all of the bases.
Yes, we're trying to cover new ground.
Are there, not that I want you to give away any secrets, but are there some other new and innovative approaches and programs, content that is in the development stage with you and with Firefly that you can talk about?
Well, we just had a very exciting weekend last weekend. We had a Firefly night. And so we invited families to come find fireflies at the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum. And so we got to tour around the Arboretum, learn about fireflies. It was a great night for people to connect, learn more about the credit union, and see fireflies in their element. So that was an exciting experience that we just executed last weekend. And we're trying to constantly find new, innovative ways to teach kids about savings, provide resources for adults to live a better financial life, and be at the cutting edge of what's relevant financially for people.
I think that's amazing, and you're to be congratulated and recognized for how innovative and how effective these programs are. I was just curious, were you able to weave in any financial education while people were out in nature enjoying the fireflies?
I tried. I did my best, but there was cookies involved. So the students, all the young kids were focused on the cookies. But we like to give out jars, and we say, fill this by day with coins, and then by night go take it and catch fireflies in it. So we're trying to give some tools and start conversations. A lot of families say, we just don't even know how to get started in talking to our kids about money. We want to give them a starting point to say, this doesn't have to be difficult, it can be easy, and here are some tips. So we gave everyone who came some tips on how to talk about money and how to save.
Well, Geoff, it's obvious that you are passionate and really committed and engaged to financial literacy, financial education. You're fortunate to have a forum and a supporter that gives you the resources and the backing to move into the communities, schools and organizations with the message and information about financial literacy and financial education. Where do you see this going? I mean, you got a great start, you have terrific momentum. Where do you see all of this going? What's your dream, your aspirations for this?
Well, I'm trying to follow you as as my mentor. I want to influence this industry more and more, the credit union. I know you've left such an impactful legacy on the movement, not just here in the Twin Cities, but nationwide. And I want to have a similar footprint. I want to help people live their best financial lives. And I want people to know about what a remarkable gift credit unions are here in our community and the way that we really care about people. And so I want to find creative ways to show everyone who is willing to listen that Firefly is a great place and that credit unions as a whole are really a great industry. They're trustworthy and they care about people. So that's my goal. What the title of my job is someday, I have no idea, and that doesn't concern me, but I want to have the same kind of influence you've had over the years.
Well, I appreciate the compliments and the references to the working relationship that we had together, which I think was terrific.
Yes.
And I appreciate the fact that I offered some support and inspiration to get you moving forward in this, even though you were already passionate about financial education before then.
Thank you.
So any final comments or thoughts to wrap up the program today, Geoff?
Money can be fun. Learning about money can be a lot of fun if you do it the right way. And that's less about spreadsheets and mathematics and more about having difficult conversations, fun conversations, dreaming big, and thinking about what's really important in life.
Well, thank you for that. Anyone or organizations or individuals interested in learning more about the financial education programs and content available from the credit union should contact you or the credit union, and the contact information was provided on the screen as well.
Yes.
So, Geoff, it's been great visiting with you today. Thank you for sharing with us your career and your passion up to this point on financial education, and congratulations again to you and to the credit union for the award-winning work that you have been doing. Our guest today has been Geoff Bullock, financial specialist, financial education specialist at Firefly Credit Union in Burnsville. Geoff, thank you, and good luck to you.
Thank you.